Grew up here in Mudgeeborough on the Gold Coast, one of 11 kids, and young kid loved rugby league and always dreamt of getting there, but had no idea how to do it. There came a time where I worked my way through high school, age of 16. I made the Broncos development squad, and we went into camp. So guys like Sammy Thaiday was there, Neville Costigan, players that went on to play Origin careers themselves. And the first thing Wayne did, he sat us all down in the room. There's about 30 of us, the top kids in the country. And he said, out of all this whole group here, one of you are going to go on to make NRL. I just remember just thinking, crap, it's not going to be me. I looked around me and saw these kids a lot bigger than me, a lot more skilled than me. He said that, and it made me feel pretty flat. And we went into this camp, and we're doing all the testing, agility, fitness, tackling, ball skills. And I was at the bottom end. I was struggling. I never lifted weights before in my life. I was pretty undeveloped. And I honestly felt like giving up, thinking footy's not for me. And it came a point where it was the second last night we were in camp, and Wayne Bennett spoke to the group. And I remember, I'll never forget it because it changed my whole perspective on life. Wayne said to the whole group many things, but he said something to me. He said to the whole group though, he said, there's no one better than you, but you're no better than anyone else. And he goes, I'll repeat it. I knew when anyone repeats something, I know it's really important. He goes, there's no one better than you, but you're no better than anyone else. I went back to my dorm that night. I lied in bed. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about it. Like, what did this long-necked bloke talking about, this gangly old man? I know he knows his stuff. What's he trying to say? I kept thinking about it, and I had a light bulb moment when I realised I could be better than anyone, but everyone else has the exact same opportunity. What am I willing to do to get there? And from that point on, it changed my perspective. I started believing, doing the work, not just believing, but I was doing the work, knowing if I did the work, it could pay off in the long run. And from that stage, I got to play first grade. I was happy just to play one game, but from that point moving forward though, I thought, I want more. And how can I get more? So a big thing I did is when I went back to the Broncos after I debuted for the Roosters, I knew Shane Webcke was the number one prop in the NRL. He was playing for Australia, winning all of the awards. So I thought no matter everything I do, I'm going to pair myself alongside Shane Webcke in fitness, wrestling, skills, speed, everything. I was going to make sure that everything I did with him, I'm going to compete. I'm going to try and beat him in everything. And he wrestled me so many times to start with. But as the preseason went on, I started to compete more. I started getting stronger, fitter, faster. My level of my game just raised up a lot higher. And from that's where I've realised if I want to be the best, I'm best to pair myself with the best in the field and be able to get the most out of myself. And I got to give a big thanks to Shane Webcke, because if he didn't push me and bend and twist me and push me to my ultimate brink, to the point where I'm about to give up, then I wouldn't have learnt those skills that I know now in life moving forward. It was scary. My first week in camp, I remember walking in the door. I remember getting a phone call actually from Mal. I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, is this really Mal? They said, congratulations, mate, you're in the team. I just remember turning to my wife at the time and said, mate, I just got that was the call. It didn't seem real. And I remember just leading into the camp, I was just freaking out. I just wanted to fit in. I didn't want to. These guys, they already won 2 series before I'd been in there. We're going into the 3rd series. We got guys like Darren Lockyer, Petro Sivanasiva. You got Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Israel Folau. He was debuting that game as well. And we go into camp. I just remember going around shaking everyone's hand, meeting everyone, just thinking, mate, just don't say anything stupid. I don't want to stand out or do anything wrong. But I remember the first day in there, we got the media conference where we all go around, we got to speak to all the media, and I was freaking out because as a young kid looking up to Origin, this was the pinnacle. This was, as all the young Queenslander kids, you want to play Origin. And I just remember thinking, am I good enough? I remember thinking to myself, should I really be here? Do I deserve to be here? And I didn't say anything, but Petro Sivanasiva, who was the incumbent front row at the time there, he pulled me aside. He could tell there's something up. He pulled me aside and gave me a hug, put his arm around me, said, mate, I just got a feeling, mate, are you all right? I said, yeah, young kid, as if I'm going to say, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm good, mate. He goes, mate, I just want you to let you know, this is what he said to me, I just want to let you know that you're here because of what you do week in, week out for the Brisbane Broncos. The job we need you to do here for State of Origin is the same you do week in, week out for the Brisbane Broncos. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for miracles. We're not asking you to win a game for us. We just ask you to get that ball under your wing and run as hard as you do at the Brisbane Broncos and make your tackles just as hard as you do at the Brisbane Broncos. And that I just felt this comfort go over my whole body, like, I can do that. I can be here. And that gave me confidence to be able to then back my ability at training and be able to build up for my first ever Origin game and series, and it goes down in history now. I was able to be a part of 5 Origin series. The whole experience of Origin camp is unbelievable. The atmosphere that the staff, Mal Meninga and his staff put together is, yes, it's serious. Yes, we train hard. There is 0 mistakes of training. Everything is done 100 miles an hour, full speed, but so's the fun. We have a lot of fun in camp. We're there as a group of men that come together. We're as one. We become one unit. You can't rely on someone if you don't trust them, if you aren't mates with them, you don't know them personally. Because when your chips are down, when you're fatigued and tired, you're going to start second guessing the bloke next to you. So a big thing is building those relationships in your team, and the team always comes first. And you can tell on the field why we're so successful, because we're so tight mates off the field and got along and had respect for each other, and that's why we got the job done. I'll never forget the moment when you run out in the field, the noise, it is electric. The chills you get, they run over your whole body. I'm getting them now just thinking about it. Knowing that not only what it means to you and your family and your loved ones, but every other Queenslander out there, they're riding you every tackle, every run, every breath you make, and standing out there for the national anthem, you're standing there, and your family, all the players' families are sitting right in front of where we stand. So while you're singing the anthem that people lost their lives for in this country, it means so much for us. We're standing there looking at our family in the eyes, singing our national anthem, standing on the biggest stage in Australian sport, and about to represent our great state, Queensland. There is no better feeling. It gets you so ready to and realise the magnitude about what you're about to intake. Mal Meninga is an outstanding coach. He's a great man manager, and the big thing he wanted to make sure that we knew every bit of information we needed before we went out there on the field. And the big thing is that preparation is key to everything in life, not just in rugby league, but if we're prepared right, we knew we had a great team coming up against us every single time. And the odds were against us. No one's ever won more than 3 in a row. No one ever won more than 4, 5, 6, 7. This has never been done before, but the reason this was done is because of our preparation beforehand. And Mal Meninga was very good to make us aware of the distractions, the great things that can happen in front, and where we were currently at that time with our training and where we needed to be. So to make sure we had all the information we need, we knew where we were at the right times and how we're going to execute it. And there's a reason why he's been the most successful coach in Origin. He's an outstanding man manager. The bus trip's incredible. Like, you're on this bus, and we only got to do it once, is go down Caxton Street. They still back in the old days. The reason they don't do it anymore is because it is so dangerous. They literally shake the bus. The Queensland fans come out of the Caxton and all the pubs out there, and the police are lined, standing side by side around the whole bus. And the fans just push them out of the way, and they're shaking the bus. They want to get as close as you can, because it's not just a game to Queenslanders. This is a time where we come together as Queenslanders. If we're in drought times or in flood times or financial crisis time, this is a time where people can forget in Queensland the tough times have gone in their life and get on board. And this is more than just a game. It's not just a normal club game. This means so much, and to be able to be a part of that and seeing how much it means to other people, you take that on the field with you. Like, as players, you think we're just out there playing a game. No, it means more than just a game to us. We know who we're representing and the magnitude of what we're about to intake. First day at Origin training was a big shock to me, because training was at 9 o'clock. And I thought, sweet, I'll get down there early. I get there at 8:45. I rock up at 8:45. We ride our bikes to the training field. We get there. I was dead set the last person at the training. My heart sunk. I thought, crap, I am late. Like, I am going to get in so much trouble here. But I wasn't late. Everyone was already at training. So the kickers and catchers, the outside backs were doing high bombs. JT was putting up bombs. They were catching. The forwards were doing wrestling. The other halves were doing passing drills. Everyone was doing the little bits of extra, and it was a big lesson for me in my career, and I was lucky I had it at the age of 24, because there's a reason why these players are the greatest players to play our game. Some of these guys are going to go down as immortals. It's because it's not only they're naturally talented, they do more work than anyone else. They do the little things. It's not like they're practicing doing flick passes or scoring tries. They're doing catch, pass, hands, kicking for the outside back, making sure they're catching the ball, the basics, the wrestling, the stuff that people don't see on the TV is all the wrestling and getting that extra second to play the ball. This is what the great players of Queensland all do, and they do it in their own time, not only in training time. And that's the reason why these players are so successful. And we talk about raising the bar in our lives and our careers. Well, this is why. It's not the big plays. It's all these little things that you do, the little 1%ers that people don't notice, that build into big things. And when you're tired and fatigued and doing it tough, that's the time you can rely on. You've got that in the bank that you can pull that out and you get the job done. The reason why Queensland's so successful, and they've raised the bar so many times over and over again, is because we play as a team. The reason why our individual players are so good is because the team comes first. If you do your role in the team, you'll shine as an individual outside. You see the accolades that Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Jonathan Thurston get. It's because they're the best team players in our game. They put the team first, and from that individual shines. Where on the other hand, where New South Wales get themselves in trouble is when the chips are down and the game's in an arm wrestle, individuals will look for a big play to win the game. We saw that in Game 2 last year where they were winning and they went for that big the knockout punch. Well, it wasn't necessary. The key was keep building pressure, and eventually they will crack. But when New South Wales gets unstuck is where they're a team of individuals. They're skill-wise, they're just as skillful as Queensland. But I believe the Queenslanders really play as a team. I think New South Wales are really buying into that now, and that's why we're seeing the competition a lot tighter now last year. But moving forward, that's the scary time for Queensland, is that once New South Wales realise that the team comes first, she's on for young and old. The series is going to continue to get even tighter. Yeah, one of the best things about Origin Camp is we get out into a remote community of Queensland. So we've been in Emerald, Blackwater, all over the place, especially places that have been affected by drought or floods, or places where kids don't get to see their superheroes. I grew up on the Gold Coast. I never met an NRL player, and I wished I did. And the great thing that the staff do for Queensland is they get us out in those areas, and we see what's happening out in those areas. We get to put a smile on their faces. We see the tough times that they're going through, but they're still smiling. They're still pushing forward. They're still continuing to get the job done. And we're kidding ourselves if that doesn't affect us as players. Like, we can see that and how much they're bought into us and their state and how much it means to them. And to be able to go out there and give something back to those remote communities is one of the highlights of the whole campaign of being a Queensland Origin player. And even game day, I like to go for a walk on game day and get in Queensland Street Mall and see around and see all the fans and see what it means to them. They're all dressed in their maroon jerseys, about getting ready to go to the game, and it makes you realise who you're representing and what you stand for. Like, it's not just us 17 players take the field. It's millions of Queenslanders that are emotionally, physically, everything invested into this team and winning that series, because that's a couple of hours of a year where we can forget everything else in our lives and focus on who we are and where we come from. Mate, we bleed maroon. We're Queenslanders, and we're proud of it.